Hello, and welcome to the Pleasure Practice, a safe space for exploration of the evasive interplay of emotion and erotic that is intimacy. I'm Nikki, your intimacy expert, relationship intuist, dating advisor, and certified sex coach. There is never any judgment here, only curiosity and insight. Thank you so much for choosing to join me on this journey. Enjoy. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Pleasure Practice. Today, we are beginning our deep dive into those 5 love drugs that we discussed in the previous 2 episodes, and today the topic is oxytocin. Now, if you are at all familiar with your chemistry pop culture, you will know that oxytocin is often called the cuddle chemical, the bonding hormone, or the love drug. But oxytocin is far more complex and more powerful than most people realize. It is the chemical that builds trust, that deepens intimacy, and the chemical that softens fear. It is also the same chemical that can keep you hooked on the wrong person long after logic tells you that you should walk away. But let's talk about the science behind that feeling. Oxytocin is produced in the hypothalamus and released by the pituitary gland, but its effects are felt deeply in the amygdala, the part of your brain that processes fear and threats. When oxytocin levels rise through sex, touch, cuddling, eye contact, or even shared laughter, your amygdala quiets down. You literally feel safer. You relax and you open up. That is why intimacy feels so disarming. It is not just emotional. It is biological. Oxytocin lowers blood pressure, reduces your heart rate, and soothes your body's fight or flight response. It signals to your whole nervous system, you can trust this person, and when you're with this person, you are safe. You can relax. You can let go. That is beautiful when it's earned. It's what allows vulnerability, emotional bonding, and true and deep connection to happen. So, first, let's talk about the beautiful side of bonding. In healthy relationships, oxytocin is the foundation of safety. It's what turns sex into connection and affection into emotional security. It is released not just in romance, but in birth, breastfeeding, shared laughter, and even cuddling with your pet. It is one of nature's most ancient survival tools. It is the chemical that whispers, you are not alone. In a healthy dynamic, it is essential and deeply healing. It builds trust, and it transforms physical intimacy into emotional intimacy and emotional safety. But what about when this glue that binds us together turns toxic? That is where oxytocin can become dangerous, because the same chemical that helps you bond also makes it hard to leave an unhealthy relationship. Oxytocin lowers fear and inhibitions by quieting the amygdala. And the amygdala is an essential part of the system that tells us when we are in danger or when something is not right or feels off. That means when oxytocin is flowing through your system, you literally cannot see and interpret threat in the same way. You feel safe, even when you're not. In unhealthy or even abusive relationships, oxytocin can become a trap. Your body keeps releasing oxytocin every time there's physical contact, intimacy, reconciliation, or even an apology. Each rush of that hormone soothes your fear response and convinces your brain you are okay. You are safe here. Even when part of you knows that truly you are not. It is not weakness. This is neurochemistry. Oxytocin is doing exactly what it is supposed to do. In fact, this is a sign that your nervous system is functioning as it should. Oxytocin is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Bond you to the person who provides comfort. It can't discern between whether that comfort is consistent, conditional, or completely chaotic. That is one of the main reasons why people can stay attached to toxic partners long after the love turns painful. Your biology is still rewarding that bond. This is actually a huge part of why cycles of abuse and reconciliation feel so magnetic. Every I'm sorry, every gentle touch after a fight, it floods your body with oxytocin, resets your nervous system, replaces fear with calm, and tricks you into feeling safe when nothing has really changed. And then there is the brutal withdrawal effect. When you do finally break away, your body reacts as though it's losing a drug, because it is. Oxytocin works on the same reward and soothing pathways as opioids. Take it away suddenly, and your system goes into withdrawal. You might feel restless, anxious, nauseous, unable to sleep, or even like you want to crawl out of your skin. And that is not just heartbreak. That is real chemical withdrawal. Without the oxytocin that your body has grown dependent upon, your brain falls back into survival mode. Your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, takes over, Cortisol spikes, adrenaline surges, and your body becomes hyper vigilant, scanning for danger and desperate for relief. That is one of the reasons that people often go back over and over again, even when they know that they shouldn't. This absence of oxytocin leaves you in a chronic state of anxiety, constantly searching for that next hit of calm that it once got from that connection. And until you can rebuild those pathways safely, everything feels exactly like withdrawal. So, how do you heal and reclaim your balance and your power? Healing from a toxic bond is not just emotional. It is chemical. It is physical. You cannot think your way out of oxytocin dependence. You have to retrain your nervous system to feel safe again without that person who is the supply of your brain's main source of oxytocin. This is another huge reason why it is so vitally important to maintain relationships outside of your romantic relationship, and plays a role in why when a victim of abuse becomes isolated, it is so much more difficult for them to break away. That person has become perhaps their only source of oxytocin. That means that you have to rebuild oxytocin naturally. Touch, laughter, social connection, pets, self-compassion, therapy. Slowly, you can teach your body that safety exists without that specific source. And even that closeness, calm, and comfort can come from within. When you understand that your craving is not weakness and there is not something wrong with you, it's just biology, you can stop judging yourself for wanting the thing that also hurt you. You can start bonding consciously and with intent, not compulsively. So, if oxytocin is the glue, the molecule that binds us, calms us, and connects us, it is the same chemical that makes love feel like home and heartbreak feel like detoxing. It can heal you or it can trap you. But when you understand it, you can use it to build relationships that are truly safe and healthy, not just chemically soothing. The power is not in trying to control the chemistry. The power comes from understanding it. When you begin to understand the difference between real safety and mere chemical sedation, you stop mistaking comfort for real love. And that is when you truly can begin to be happy. So, next week, we will dive into dopamine, the thrill, the craving, and the crash that can make falling in love feel like your favorite high. I'll see you next time on the Pleasure Practice. Thanks for watching.